talking about these missions, Dr. Larose, U.S. laws heavily restricts NASA scientists from collaborating directly with China. You noted that you and your colleagues encountered unexpected levels of hesitancy toward granting applications related to the Chinese space station. To what extent do you think geopolitics will add difficulties to the level of international cooperation?
That's an excellent question. And as far as I understand, China is becoming more and more open to collaborating with NASA, for example. And in my work at the International Space University in France, I've worked with many Chinese colleagues and NASA colleagues in the same room because it's a neutral forum for space training and education. So I think it's time for us to have a shift in our mindset. I mean, here we are with the China space station being coordinated by the United Nations, which tells us we can have confidence we are accessing space for peaceful uses and for the benefit of all humanity. I think it's time for people, particularly in the West, to shift their perspectives. And this is why, as principal investigator for Tumors in Space from Norway, also from Canada, I'm absolutely proud to represent the China space station with our experiment.
Dr. Tricia Larose, thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Larose is principal investigator of the cancer research group Tumors in Space. Thank you. And
thank you.
Mr. Xu, talking about obstacles, geopolitics and geopolitical tensions is certainly one of them. How bothered or how concerned are you about these man-made barriers, let's say, to international cooperation?
Well, I think there are leading countries in the world for space, in the space community. We understand that U.S., Russia, China, and European Space Agency are among the leading organizations in space that they play an important role in space. The international infrastructure such as ISS, International Space Station, has been participated by a number of countries. And unfortunately, China was not part of that effort, but we are catching up with our own efforts. I think the geopolitical barriers are very much an obstacle to cooperation. But with the Europeans, we cooperate very closely, including the lunar sample return missions and lunar exploration missions and Mars missions. We're cooperating with European Space Agency for telemetry tracking and control of the spacecraft, as well as the instrument that's flying on board the Chang'e missions. And also, we cooperate with NASA on single project basis. This, of course, has to obtain the Congress approval and Senate approval, of course. But we did cooperate on the Chang'e 4 mission, on the landing and joint observation using U.S. Lunar orbiter called Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, LRO. So we did have some degrees of cooperation, and also we shared some of the lunar exploration data. I don't want to exclude the possibility of cooperating on board the Chinese space station, and also possibly collaboration in the future, as I have knowledge that some commercial cooperation already existed. For example, the NanoRacks company have already successfully put the Beijing Institute of Technology's microgravity experiments on board the International Space Station, which was a very successful mission. So all possibilities are open, and I think with the Chinese attitude, we're open for all kinds of international cooperation.